on for the moment. IndiGo CEO Pieter Elbers has once again been summoned by the DGCA. Aviation Ministry officials and DGCA will meet IndiGo CEO likely at 11 a.m. on Tuesday, and the government is warning on various routes of IndiGo that need to be truncated. Meanwhile, Andhra Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu Garu, in his first response on IndiGo crisis, has said massive flight cancellation occurred due to poor crew roster management by IndiGo and not because of the government's policy. Andhra CM has actually slammed political critics for sensationalizing a national crisis and saying they throw mud on us to escape own wrongdoings.
But only IndiGo has managed all these years low budget airline, and also they won't recruit people. Because of these norms, they have to implement it. All of a sudden, December 4, 550 flights. December 5th, 600 flights have been cancelled. Non-managing the roster, that is where they have committed a mistake. All these things has caused so much of disturbances. There is no head and tail for the party. They will do all these things. They want something sensational, they will play, they will throw mud on us.
Now, meanwhile, even as an inquiry has been ordered, an explosive insider revelation has rocked India's aviation industry, exposing alleged deliberate misconduct by IndiGo. Listen into a whistleblower who spoke with Anvit Srivastava.
November implementation happened because of the Honorable High Court. They started taking flight cancellation on purpose. What IndiGo used this FDTL was for their benefit. First, they cancelled all type of contracts, norms, PLs availability, and everything went off. Although having special clearance from DGCA, which no other airline had, they started with, again, like I told you, they started taking cancellations to make data and make it arm twist the regulator to get rid of the FDTL. The accountable and responsible people who have brought this chaos, made so many passengers suffered, made the frontline warriors, pilots, cabin crew, ground staff suffer, even beaten up, they should be brought to justice.
Let's go straight across to our guest, Captain Saurabh Bhatnagar, former senior pilot A380. He used to fly the A320 with IndiGo, is with us. M.R. Shivaraman, former DGCA, is with us. And Suhail Seth is also with us, columnist and commentator. Namaste. Thank you for your time. My first question to Captain Saurabh Bhatnagar. The pilots have had an issue with IndiGo for a while. Is this true? And what the whistleblower said, do you agree, disagree?
Hi, good evening. Anand, I would not directly, I would agree to some aspect. Yes, pilot had an issue because the primary thing was, related to the rest period and related to the number of flights per day, and also being the night landings and all of things. And IndiGo works on a lean frame. They barely works on the minimum requirement of pilots to meet the legal aspects. That international norm, that is not internationally followed by anybody else. So naturally, over a period of time, when they start increasing number of flights, stop hiring pilots. In fact, for the December schedule, for the winter schedule, they increased 6% more without even hiring the pilot. But there was a thing always with the pilots and IndiGo. No union is being formed, and they don't allow to form any union of all these things. So yeah, there was I would say a discomfort between the pilot fraternity and the cabin crew fraternity and the IndiGo management. Yes, I would agree with that.
But Mr. Shivaraman, is it possible that the DGCA was taken lightly, or the DGCA was not monitoring the airlines? Because this implementation of the FDTL was supposed to happen in two phases. It was already in place from the 1st of November. So how come this crisis happens in December?
No, first of all, I would like to say the FDTL was announced as early as January 2024.
By the court,
It's not new. Therefore, the companies had enough time to recruit more pilots or reschedule the flights in such a manner that there was no such chaos. The second point I want to raise is the DGCA should not be calling the officers of the airlines. Officers are not responsible. The policy-making body, the board of the Indigo company, which is a public limited company. There are independent directors. Those independent directors have a responsibility to the stakeholders. And here the stakeholders are the passengers, the hundreds and thousands of passengers who are dependent on the airline. Why is the DGCA shy of calling the chairman and the board of directors to his room and asking them these questions? What were we doing about implementing this policy? Because this is a policy decision given by the DGCA. Why did they not do it? Why are they still being shy of calling the board of directors here? So that's another point. The third point, as far as the DGCA is concerned, Section 4 of the Indian Aircraft Charter 2004 is very clear that the entire responsibility of safety of civil aviation rests on the DGCA. If you look at the other section where the government has got superintending powers over the DGCA and the Bureau of Civil Aviation Security, they have not included Section 4 where the government could issue directions. So therefore the government cannot issue any directions to the DGCA on air safety and safety of airlines or safety of operations of the crew. It is entirely the responsibility of the DGCA. I have been the DGCA for 3.5 years in the when the privatization of airlines took place. I had enough problems at the time, all kinds of aircraft coming, and we didn't have any clue about the aircraft. But still, we managed to maintain discipline because we kept them under control. We went to the chairman of the board and we did not talk to the officers because the chairman that is responsible or the board of directors. In this case, the DG should have hauled up the board of directors. They're simply talking to the chief executive officer or the others. What is the point? The chief executive officer will simply mumble and jumble, that's about all.
Right.
And the officer will not reply either.
Right. But Sohail said clearly somewhere it looks like the biggest operator in the country did not know that there is going to be an operational mess. It's a little hard to believe. Did they try and do this so that they can use public ire to influence policy?
No, I don't think so. That's where I mean.
One minute. The question is to me, Mr. Sivaraman. The question has been asked to me. Let me also reply. Thank you. So there are three issues here. Mr. Sivaraman, when he was DGCA, he may have been squeaky clean and, holier than milk. But it is no secret that the DGCA often enough is in cahoots with private operators. Anand, let's not beat around the bush and let me just come straight to the point.
Ji.
Jet Airways was the biggest lobbying machine under Naresh Goyal. They spiked the Singapore-Tata airline deal 20 years ago. Mr. Sivaraman would know that. Kingfisher was brought down by these people. So it is an unholy mess. Everyone knows about it, but no one wants to talk about it. Most civil aviation ministers have been hand in glove, and here I will give Ram Mohan Naidu credit. He's the one chap who doesn't have a historical affinity with any of the airlines and therefore no baggage. So cut him some slack. Now, whose responsibility is flying in India? Ultimately, the DGCA. Who's the head of the DGCA? We don't know. Has he been sacked? No. Will he be sacked? No. The babus and the bureaucrats know how to protect each other very well. I totally agree with Mr. Sivaraman. Where the hell is the board? And the board has some really eminent, decent people with excellent track records, whether it's a Vikram Mehta, Amitabh Kant, Mr. Damodharan. These are good people. But these good people didn't step in. Let's imagine, Anand, no one had predicted this. There was no blackmail, there was no conspiracy, there was nothing. What were the steps that could have been taken? There was zero communication. There was arrogance. You left your frontline staff, you fed them to the wolves. Some passengers behaved in the most abominable manner and should be put on no-fly lists for slapping people. They have no bloody business to do that. Where was the communication? Where were Pieter Elbers? Rahul Bhatia, whether you like it or not, ran the airline along with Gangwal very well. Now, today we see that's actually a house of cards when it comes to a crisis. Now, my point is that it is not fair to say, oh, airline did this, someone did this, someone did this. But the passenger has gotten screwed. When whales fight, shrimps are eaten. My request is as follows. Number one, you have to have an impartial inquiry. DGCA will never get to the bottom of it because DGCA will not want to kill its own people. Number two, you must impose fiscal penalties. Because I cannot understand an airline which was otherwise excellently run. Indigo was excellently run. Let's be honest about it. I cannot imagine that Indigo did not foresee the problems. And let's imagine they did not. Because see, to be fair, Anand, no airline wants this kind of reputational damage. There is an unlimited cost.
In this case, Sohelji, what happens is, and Captain can bear me out on this final word, it's that nobody envisaged it will snowball into such a big situation. But they were all aware that they are going to run into operational head weather and rough weather. And they did nothing about it. Captain, true, false? Did the pilots not warn them? The management?
Absolutely.
Look, I don't put too much credence on pilots also. Pilots are also known to blackmail.
Let Captain speak, please. Yeah.
No, absolutely right. From January 2024, the new FDTL was kicked in, and July was first phase implemented. November, everyone, right from the pilot to management, everyone knew that this is going to happen. The night flying, the landing will cut down from 6 to 2.
Right.
The night definition will go from 12 to 6. They knew the shortage will be there. They had ample 2 years to prepare. That is the main question everyone is asking, and they are now telling DGCA that they were short, or they are short only 124 pilots, 65 captains, 59 first officers. That doesn't mean that they will cancel so many thousands of flights. 124 is only 2.7 or 2.5.
But it's a dominoes effect. It's always a dominoes effect. One flight gets cancelled.
No, but Sohail, we are forgetting this. They had time. They had time to fill these gaps for 2 years.
So
and even when this happened in July, it was implemented in 2 phases, July and also November. So they had enough and more time.
So what the captain said, the captain said and what Mr. Sivaraman said, if I were Indigo, what I would do? I would publish, instead of these silly apologies, I would publish a one-pager answering each of the questions all of us have raised.
Right, we
were not told this, but this is what we were told.
They have just, Indigo has said they are profusely apologetic. They received Indigo's response to the show cause notice in connection with the recent large-scale operational disruptions.
Who cares about an
apology?
I'm
just reading out their statement. I'm reading out their statement. And flight cancellations across airline network, Indigo has submitted replies signed by both Chief Executive Officer and Chief Operating Officer on 8th December 2025 at 18:01 hours. Indigo's response, apology and regret. Indigo is profusely apologetic and deeply regrets the inconvenience and hardship caused to customers. They attribute the disruption to compounding effect of multiple factors which operated in an unfortunate and unforeseeable confluence. Request for time. Indigo states that it is realistically not possible to pinpoint the exact cause at this time due to the complete complexity and vast scale of operations. They note that the DGCA's manual allows a 15-day response timeline for SCN, suggesting more time is needed to conduct a comprehensive root cause analysis, RCA, and the complete RCA will be shared once finished. Preliminary contributing factors. The airline suggests that the disruption resulted from a combination of the following factors which coincided in lesser or greater measure. 1. Minor technical glitches. 2. Schedule changes linked to the start of the winter season. 3. Adverse weather conditions. 4. Increased congestion in the aviation system. 5. Implementation of operation under the updated crew rostering rules, FDTL, flight duty time limitation phase 2. That's what they've said. Is this answer believable, viewers? We leave it to you. Thank you for watching. Thank you.